And we're live. You guys have no idea how I just slid in here right before this live. Who else here already? Gosh, 21 people already. Lars and Colleen are here early. It was in 4 minutes ago. Mohawk is here. Danny Boyd, NSB Custom Cars. I don't even want to know what the temperature is there because it was 15 degrees here today. Carry building supplies in. Junkyard D, who probably has it worse than us. Heavens Mopar Scott. Peoples of All Things Cool. I'll take that. Turbo Tom, the One-Eyed Cat. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat. Wrong English. Pure Pontiac Garage. Hot Rod Guy Garage Russell. They call him Dr. Go. Lunar's Outlaw Garage. How you doing, sir? What is Leadfoot City? Not here. Kerosene Cucumber. Mr. Gray. Slant Daily Garage says, "What's up, suckers?" Thumper is here. Glad everybody could make it. Yeah, I didn't have this live up early today. Had to work on the old house. Not the old house, the old double wide. I got different properties I have to work on. So my task this time is this roachy old subflooring. It's been patched. It's a mess. Other people patched on it before I got it. So anyway, I'm taking all of this up, doing whatever I need to do to the joists and putting in all new subflooring. I'm taking it out one section at a time. Then when I get 8 feet across, I'll put down my OSB. But anyway, it's a big chore, but I want to do it right. I mean, that's the way to do stuff, right? Do it right. Levi's here. Mrs. Levi's here. Old McDonald says maybe -40 Fahrenheit wind chill by next weekend. Gosh, my pipes even froze while I was in Bluefield. This old crack house episodes. Well, not that I know of. I mean, I bought it from the original owner. But anyway, then I had terrible tenant in there. A couple terrible tenants in there. Lunar says he's doing well and hard to complain when dragging home an air-cooled Porsche 911 in the very beginning of the year. Okay. Of course, going to have a Porsche, at least have an air-cooled Porsche. So you can redo Huey Lewis's I Want a New Drug video with the Porsche. Any more forehead bumps? No new ones, but this one's, this one's still there. Man, I got smacked pretty good. Oh. JB is present but cooking dinner. Sounds like a good idea. It's cold in here. I didn't get in time enough to turn the heat on in the studio here. Ooh, cold. It's better than 15 outside. I'll be back on my rock pile here in a couple of days. Had to cut up some limbs and haul in some subflooring and a bunch of 2x6s, and couldn't back up to my door to unload because there's snow everywhere. Oh, and then the best, I'll make a short out of this, but I'll put it up for you here ahead of time. This was this was this morning. If I can find it. Can't be too far away. It just happened. What to do with it already? Oh my goodness. It's right here. Okay. This is what happened this morning. Go in and work on the flooring. I come out. Oh, well, not going to make any sense. I'll put this up as a short, but I'll show it here first. Yeah, CRV was up by the garage. I came out and I don't know how far that is it slid, but it sure did. Rapid Transit J, hello, left turn Dodge. Left turn Dodge is running second in the No Name 500. We now have 4 registered in the No Name 500. Mostly Mopar, the left turn Dodge. We've got the Mid-South Lowballer and Dave Stovall. So we now have 4 in the No Name 500 so far. Indecisive Tim, who I'm sure is enjoying wonderful summer weather in Michigan right now. You guys are all over the place, so Colleen's telling me Leadfoot City's a newer track in Florida. Looks pretty cool. That's a place I'm sure I won't go. Don Garlitz's birthday is tomorrow. Outstanding. What is he? Is he 90? How old is he? Like 90, 92 or something? Volcanic ash? No, I wish. That's just snow. Yeah, I parked up by the garage and it was slick and apparently just slid all the way down by the tree. And the way it slid in there, I had to back around to get out. 94? I knew he was in his 90s. You know, I've stopped. I was in the car about 15 minutes doing some stuff. You'd think after 15 minutes of sitting there, it wasn't going to go anywhere. I go in and work, I come out, and that happened. It's wild. Garlitz is 94, yeah. Yeah, wow. I'd like to meet Garlitz, but, I mean, I don't know. I'll never know when that would happen. Tim's probably plowing it. Probably so. JB says there should be a young S10 guy signing up soon. Interested in running a trash truck. Got to sign up and let's go. Well, got to make it happen. You know the drill. Did he get dings and dents? I don't know what that means. I got plenty of dings and dents working. Did it get dings and dents? I don't know. Oh, no, nothing. Nothing. Just backed in right by the tree. Didn't do a thing. It was just kind of funny. Turbo Tom suggests an AI got in the car. Bar's Nest is here. Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. Manny Boy says his neighbor was born in or around 1932, on or about. You know, it's funny you mention that. Indecisive Garage says they forecasted 2.5 inches. We've gotten 8 so far. Nice. A friend of mine had sent me these, and I just thought they were really cool. I don't know where he finds some of this stuff, but he found some old pictures from. We figured out about what year some of them are. We think this one is around 1958 to 60, somewhere in there. That's the SS Kresge building downtown Bluefield. That building is now gone. In fact, that really tall building you can see behind it, you can just see it wide open. That whole block you're looking at is gone. The Montgomery Ward building, all of that is history. And of course, for those who don't know, S&S Kresge's became Kmart. And then there was this shop, the West Virginia Hotel. Come on, focus. These were good pictures. Where he found all this federal building. But this was probably my favorite. This is a street there they've actually been trying to revitalize. But man, look at it. We think it's 1952 because of the 2 different theaters there. We looked at the marquees on them. And the Granada, which is in the background there, not the state, but the Granada, that movie is 1952. And plus the cars, we think that's what year it is. But how cool is that picture? And it's just a ghost town there now. None of that's there. And we're talking about people and things that are old. Yeah, Lunar says his DeSoto's a 32. Yep. Andrew Nelson, good evening. Thanks for joining us. The Nelsons are registered for the No Name Nationals. We hope to see them there in Sykeston in September. 57 Ford at left. Yeah, we can ID a lot of the different cars, and that gives us an idea. We think that those pictures are 58 and 60 respectively. Exactly. I told Ben, I said, hey, if we want to figure out what year these pictures are, I just put the cars up on a community post and the chat will figure it out. They're really good at that. William, hello. Thank you for joining us, sir. Lone Wrench Garage, good to see you. Ron Ward, mostly old parts. Hello, sir. Glad everyone could make it. Yeah, 15 degrees is what I left. I don't know what it is right now. Saying 29 here. So I got an improvement coming down from all that. There's a lot of elevation here. We're about 2,100 feet here. But Bluefield's about 2,800. And it's usually 3-4 degrees warmer here than there. It's considerably warmer here than there, though. It's 29 now. I thought when I went outside, I could still feel my hands, so I knew it wasn't as cold as where I just left. Ron says, I hope everyone is staying warm. I got to tell you, that house I was working in, has a heat pump. It was so nice and warm in there. I have 2 heat pumps, and neither one of them are in the houses where I live. They're in other houses. It's just so cruel, you know. But Evans Mopars has a complete 41 DeSoto sedan for sale. Ran when parked, I reckon, 2000. Ron Ward's wanting to say the forecast is going to be single digits by morning here. Ugh. Big Mike wants to thank everyone who gave him advice on his brake debacle yesterday. New video out this evening. Do we have any No Name Nationals updates? Well, there's a lot of time between now and then. We're going to have more updates as time goes along. There are things in the works, and we'll be talking about them soon. Very soon. In fact, I'm working on getting a guest scheduled for very soon. I think you guys will all like a couple other things. Oh, and also, not 2 days from now, but another week. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday, I plan on having a firearm training live. I've had a lot of requests for that, actually. People really enjoyed the last one, so we'll probably do that not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Round Bar's Nest got a direct connection 6-pack mechanical setup for the Super B. Fun to mess around with. Yeah, we can get it running right. I always like the look of that. Hot Rod Guy Garage Russell says, anyone have an AC HVAC panel in working condition for a 66 Monaco? That's a pretty specific thing. Ron's asking Levi if he's gotten the jack stands all shined up. Engine Light Garage says, hello, everyone. Hello, sir. Ron loves the 6-packs. I do too. I just think they're super cool. Yeah, I used to look at that when I was younger. $899 got you the whole thing. Got you the intake, the carbs, the linkage, the whole thing. Ron, what does that package run now? I want to say it was $899 in an old like MAS racing catalog or something, or the old I don't think it was the PAW. And then in the Mopar magazines, I think it was $9.99 for a long time. It was $9.99, and then it just went up. And I just quit looking at it. I didn't even want to look anymore. No reason to look anymore. Lars puts up the link for No Name 500 Contender Left Turn Dodge. If you've not yet checked out his channel, please do. He's at 344 subs. Our leader, mostly Mopars, at 349. So if you've not yet checked out their channels, please do. You know, we'd like to have a 100% graduation rate this year. Lars also puts up the link for Mid-South Lowballer, 94 subs. He's trying to crack 100. And, you know, the first 100 is harder to get than the next 100, so it goes quicker. Ryan Barsness, this might be the first six-pack of No Name Nationals if all goes according to plan. Has anyone had a 3-2 setup of any brand there? I'm not sure. Not that I can recall, so it may be the first. Levi says he's been a terrible YouTuber the past 2 months, past month or two. That's life. And Lars puts up the link to our new addition to the No Name 500, Dave Stovall. He's a 48 subs, Stovall Farms and Garage. So there you go. That rounds out our 4 that are so far registered. The One-Eyed Cat says we've had a 5-barrel, so a 6 is due, which is true. We have had a 5-barrel there. Scott says, I'm a 6-pack fan myself, have big and small block sets, one for the TA Tribute, another for Superbird Tribute. Racer Ray hopes to have a Chevy there with a 3-2. Well, it's going to be who gets through the gate first then. So there you go. Uh-oh. I think Scrap Iron 2 had 3 Stromberg. Oh, yeah, he may have. Oh, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that's what that Flathead had, wasn't it? 3 Strombergs. But those are single barrel, or were they 2 barrels? Were they not Stromberg 97s? Let us know, Ron. Upper thinks it'd be funny to put a tri-power on A's. So whatever makes you happy. I'd be tickled seeing it there. I like 3 2-barrels. I just think it's cool. Always have. The Dodge Dart I drove in high school is, if they made an A12A body, that's what this would look like. The black wheels, 6-pack hood, black top. Did not have a 6-pack. I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. So I don't know who would have the first 6-pack. If you see a Scrap Iron Racing in the comments, he'd be the one to ask. Racer Ray plans on showing up on Thursday sometime. Yep. Racer Ray planning on bringing an El Camino. Well, I guess Buff and Kim will plan on bringing that that Del Camino or whatever, Del Camino or whatever that thing is. What do used small block 6-barrel 6-pack setups go? I'm sure it's just a slightly smaller fortune. I don't know. I don't know. I quit looking. Just quit looking. Thumper says Ray is bringing a seriously cool engine, the only cool Chevy engine. So a 454. So I think those are pretty cool. Rabbit Transit Garage, you say you had a buddy with an A-body 8 3/4. I need more info. Man, that's the kind of deal you shouldn't have missed. Don, that's been a week ago. That was a steal. I doubt that's still around. Heavens Mopar, some no threats since those cars aren't even built. Scott, you got to get one there this year. We're going to help you, but we got to know. And I'm still hearing these plans that are just, I don't know, man. We got to pin it down and make it happen. Ron's been trying to get a 69 Super B done to get back on his Roadrunner. Cool. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, those Ram motors are cool, man. They're this is a good design. I like the big block Chevy. Old McDonald's says, believe it or not, my elevation is 1,543 feet above sea level. I have no reason not to believe it. I've never been to Michigan, any part of it. Jay says he's working on getting it. I emailed him last week. I'll tell you what, that was a good deal. Dr. Go never thought about a small block 6-pack because I've only seen the big block setups. Yeah, well, I mean, I like the small block. I like them both, of course. Ryan's saying the carbs are bringing 2,500 these days for factory stuff. It's gotten stupid now. Yeah, I know it is. It's just ridiculous. That's why I don't even look anymore. I know it is. One-eyed cat there's one in my backyard, but I know he has plans for all those old guys have plans for it. You know that. Yeah, Heavens Mopar Scott's $700 back in the day. Yeah, I get it. First gen big block Chevy with a factory 3.2 barrel. Oh, that sounds very cool to me. I'm all about it. Sounds great. Lunar Outlaws at 1,140 feet above sea level. Ron says, as much as I hate to admit it, the big block Chevy is an incredibly formidable engine. Yes, it is. It really is. Yeah, and actually, what Chrysler was going to do was they were going to just scrap having the Hemi, the 440, and the 383. Get rid of the low deck, the high deck, the Hemi, and go to just go to the wrap motor version, that ball stud Hemi. And I think that would have been a great move and get it in 2 cubic inches, 400 or 444. I think either one of them would have been awesome. Either one would have been great. Oh, yeah. I know the ball stud Hemi would have been better than the big block Chevy. I think it would have been better, but it didn't happen. So, and of course, the only together example on earth, John Aruza had to go ruin for his own vanity, which I think is ridiculous and unforgivable. There's one on earth, and he decides to just carve it up, grind it up, change the cam, put Ford pistons in it and all this stuff, and all the factory paint, all of it gone. So he could just do that, Everybody says, well, it's his motor. Yeah, but he took that history away from the world when he did that. He could have done that with anything. He could have done that with anything. That was ridiculous. So the only one we ever had is now gone. No future generation can ever know what that thing sounds like, because who knows whatever happened to the original cam, the pistons, all of that. He did all this porting and stuff. The world could never know what that engine sounded like. He took all that away so that he could just grind and cut and bore on one. I just think that was the most ridiculous thing ever. And the car and the engine are here in Tennessee, East Tennessee somewhere. It wouldn't be any big deal for me to go down to see it. I don't want to. I would much rather have seen it the way Landy had it. I mean, I get people can do things with their own cars, their own engine. I get all that. But there's one on earth, and it takes that away from everybody. That thing should have been in a museum. SSR Performance Big James, hello. Yep, Charger 383 Mopars talking about all his parts he bought for his 727. And you'll be able to transmission to run 8s with, I think, aren't you? In the quarter. If Chrysler continued the max wedge cylinder head for another 10 years, the big block Chevy would have been in huge trouble. Yeah, maybe. But what I like is that the big block Chevy, well, I like that the Ford, did the symmetrical port, okay, versus, exhaust, intake, exhaust, intake, exhaust, right? That was definitely a better way to go, like what the Hemi had, right? That's the biggest drawback to the way the big block Mopar, whether it's max wedge or 440 or whatever, but just my thought on the whole thing. Jay, can you remind me at 10 Eastern at 9 Central? Can you remind me? I would greatly appreciate that. Lunar Brian, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Mohawk's talking about that channel destroyed. You know, that's something else too. I mean, it's not as bad, I think, than destroying the only ball stud Hemi on earth. But Whistling Diesel goes and buys a 1916 Model T Ford just to make a 10-minute video destroying it. I mean, I know there are more Model T Fords and all. I get it, but it's like, my gosh, man, a car made it over 100 years, and you just watered it up for an 8-minute video to make money off of. I just. When he did that, I unsubscribed. I actually was subscribed to him before that because I thought it was entertaining, but I'm out over that. Never watched since. And he has one of his videos is one of my favorite ever on YouTube when he put his monster truck in the Gulf of Mexico. I thought that was pretty cool, but yeah, I like preserving stuff more than that. Ron asks, is anyone dabbling with a Ford Godzilla engine for content? I'm sure some people are. I know Andy would like to. Hello, 6th Street Garage, a.k.a. Matthew Ward 627. Hello. Glad you could be here. Colleen, thanks. Anybody feels inclined, I appreciate it. Levi says he has to keep one-upping himself or his channel becomes obsolete. It'll be a weird situation when his channel implies. I don't watch it. I just can't. Ron says, I think Andy would do great with a Godzilla. I agree. So that when Andy gets one, that's when I'll be waiting. And he almost did at one point. I remember him talking about it. But yeah, if they get to messing around with one, he and Micah, that's going to be the one to watch. Those guys will really do something great with it. Thumper says the only Ford I can afford is the 351 Cleveland because I've had them for 40 years. I like the Cleveland. I like the Cleveland a lot. I have a nostalgic thing about the 390, but you know, just be honest, I don't think 390 is a great engine, but I just kind of like it. I kind of like my old man bucket list vehicle I'd kind of like to have would be a 68 Ford. I'm flexible between an F100 and an F250, but it needs a 390. It needs to be a long bed, a long toolbox bed, even better. Just really like the idea of that. Bench seat, I just love riding around in that. 2-wheel drive, good with that. 390 is a good truck engine, maybe. I mean, people talk about the oiling systems on the Ford and they need work. I guess the Ford people can tell you about that. Toolbox bed, man, those things were so cool. I love those toolbox beds. And Ford did something too that I don't think any of the other manufacturers did. Ford had 3 different wheelbases on the pickups. You had the 6-foot bed, the 8-foot bed, and then they had a longer wheelbase 8-foot bed that was shorter from the rear wheel to the back bumper and longer from the rear wheel to the back of the cab. And I always kind of liked the ones that had the extra long wheelbase and moved the rear wheels back even farther on that 8-foot bed. I always thought those looked good and had the toolbox. I always thought that would make a really good setup for a 5th wheel. So there you go. There's my bucket list old man truck would be the 68 Ford with that. But I don't think that came on the bump side. I think that was dent side and up. Well, actually just dent side only. They didn't have to buy 80 anyway. So yeah, see the Danny boy. I knew the Ford people would know. 117, 133, 140 exactly. Danny Boyd's got it exactly right. Camper Special. I'm not sure if it was just Camper Special, But Dr. Go's saying 390s, 60s big block or small block. It's an FE. It's a big block variant. Old McDonald says, I would be extremely happy with a 69 GTX 4-speed Hemi convertible. Okay, Captain Obvious. Do you have your red coat in your Hotels.com commercial? Unity Motorsports upcoming Godzilla swapped Crown Vic build. There you go. That's it. That's it right there. That's the one to watch. And that long one was dead silent. Yes, that's what I was thinking. But I would love to see that with the I mean, gosh, you know, for that matter, just swap. Yeah, you have to lengthen the bed and everything else to make that work. But yeah, I really like the bump side body. I just think that would look great. Racer Ray said he parted out a 68 390 automatic long box tool belt. Yeah, but I'm sure it was completely rusted up to the glass, right? In your area, that's what happens, right? Barrows says the Camper Special High Boy came with 2 batteries as well. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, that's right. Danny Boys' bump size were 115, 131. I didn't. So it was 2 inches shorter wheelbase for the. I didn't know. And the Indecisive Tim says Steve Morris is putting a Godzilla package together. There you go. Dodge have very few 1 tons. That configuration. I had one with a wrecker bed swapped on. Racer Ray still has the box as a trailer. Oh, that sounds cool. Unfinished Projects is a guy in Felton had a red long wheelbase inside toolbox bed with all the nice trim, spotless understored truck he used daily. Died of cancer, no idea where the truck went. I just think those are cool. If I say all steel and all glass, what does that mean to you? He was reading some rules for 2026 and half the car can be Lexan and fiberglass. Okay. That's their rules. Bigfoot Mark's tempted to buy a 70 Ranchero for $5,000. Okay. Lars spotted something pretty cool here. I gotta find this. I'll tell you what, Lars sent this to me, and I have a hard time thinking that this is really the value of these, but it really is. This really clean 4-door 67 Dart here. Guys wanting like $8,900 for it, but it is a clean little car. I mean, old McDonald, who is a decent machine shop up this way? Question is not who's a decent machine shop. The question is what machine shop can turn your stuff around in under a year? Racer races, you need to have a reliable truck to pull Pontiacs around. Maybe so. Unfinished Project has an 8-foot toolbox bed for my 75, soon to be 4x4 crew cab W350. What year's your 8-foot toolbox bed? Can you send me a picture of that? I'd like to see that toolbox bed. If you have a picture of it, please send it to me. Danny Boy, this is the first truck I ever drove, was a 1970 F-250 Ranger or Sport Custom 2-wheel drive camper special. Neat. Barrow says the Highboy Fords are totally unique. They only came in 3/4 ton, but they are sitting on the narrower half-ton chassis. Oh, that's weird. So let me ask you, so you people in here that know, and I'm asking this in general, Ford, Dodge, Chevrolet. I saw where a guy was putting together some different frames and cabs one time and something, and it seemed like the frame rails were different heights, and this was on a Dodge. If you go from, say, an F-150 to an F-250 or an F-100 F-250, same year, same length of truck, in other words, regular cab, 8-foot bed, are the frames different height between 150 and 250? What is different about the frame? Just kind of curious about that. Thumper wants a camper to pull behind his GTO for drag and drive. That sounds cool. I got to tell you, it is hard to beat the little U-Haul, those little box trailers. They're so light and pull so well. Okay, so Unfinished Project first sent me this abomination, whatever this thing is. And then he sent me the toolbox bed. Oh, look at that. I don't know that I've ever seen one of these. That's clearly a 72 to 80 Dodge truck bed, and it's a toolbox bed. Look at that. I just don't think I've ever seen one. And look how much different they really centered that wheel well on that. Ford put the wheel well farther to the back, which I actually kind of like. But Dodge had it pretty centered there. Interesting. But I think the centered wheel well will be right when he puts a crew cab with. That's going to be a really cool truck. It's roughly a 75. Yeah. Car 2, actually. Short bed box 2. That's a cool bed. Indeed it is. I like it. Danny Boyd thinks the rails are beefier on the 250 and 350. I think they are too, but I don't know. Who here can really tell me how the what's different in the frames? Just curious. I think it's center because it's short. Is that a short bed or is that a long bed? That's kind of wild. You know, now that I look at it, it does look like a short box proportionally. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe it's because it's a short bed. Is that a short bed? Unfinished Project? Barrow says 3/4 ton is usually the same as the 1 ton. They're wider to help lessen the flex between the cab and the bed. They're wider? What's wider? The rails are spaced farther apart? Unfinished Project says it's an 8-foot bed. Okay. Because I was going to say, I can't imagine a toolbox bed being on a short bed. But that does just look, the proportions look weird. I guess because there's no cab on it. Yeah. So I want to understand this. You guys teach me a lot of stuff. The 3/4 ton is the same as the 1, but they're wider than the 1/2 ton to help lessen the flex between the cab and the bed. What do you mean wider? The rails are wider. Are the rails wider or farther apart from one another? Which are they? Or both? Hot Rod Guy Garage can attest the dense side F350 frame is both heavier gauge and taller. Okay, so if you wanted to build one of those goofy 140-inch wheelbase deals, you would want to do it with a dense side frame, and then you just have to lengthen the bed of a bump side bed, or just do a different bed or something. The rails are wider and they're farther apart. That's what he means by wider. That seems wide that they're farther apart. So like the bed and cab mounts are farther apart? Is that what you're saying? On a dense side, the cab mounts are located differently, narrower. Huh. Now, I've done cab mounts on a dense side. I've even got video of that on my channel. Left turn Dodges, on the old Dodges, I think the rail was taller, but same distance apart. Okay. I have this just crazy, old man fever dream idea that I would love to do a monster truck one day. I'm not gonna lie. I just think that would be the most fun. And it probably wouldn't be a Dodge. Dust Devil Brian is here. Hello. Glad you could make it. Good to see you. Mean Street Mopar is here. RC Industry. Boy, look at all these people coming in second shift. Hello from Eastern Arkansas. Danny Boyd saying the high body is more closely spaced rails from an earlier truck like a bump side or high body. Well, I don't know. Left Turn Dodge says 1/2 and 1 ton had the same mounts. I've swapped a 1/2 ton cab on a 1 ton. Yeah, I would say there's probably a lot of people who do stuff like that where the cabs get rotten. Yeah, I just don't know anything about trucks like this, so it's interesting. Junkyard D, you just chilling? He said you could say that. Oh, I bet. Dust Devil Garage, you could probably find an old monster truck in their store. Yeah, you know what? It's something I really would love to do. I really kind of think I got one more move left in me. I probably need to get out of where I am now and get a place with a few acres. And a monster truck is something I really would like to do. Uh, I don't know that I'd do 66s, but I might. But I would really like to do 5-ton axles, 2.5-ton transfer case, 4-wheel steering, the whole bit. I think it'd be so cool. Now for Zell, howdy Bobby Frizzell. From mid-year 73, the frame is wider from the rear of the cab back. Mid 73 down, the frame is narrower. I've had over 200 of them and have 4 now. Okay, well, he ought to know. He's got enough of them. So he's saying 73, frame is wider from the rear of the cab back. And Barrows is saying the Highboy used a narrower chassis to keep the turning radius with taller tires. Well, that makes sense. Danny Boyd says if you put a new cab on your dent side Highboy, either the rear mount holes or both them and the fronts will not line up to a non-Highboy cab. But I think it's not an issue on bump size. Well, I have no idea. Huh. I mean, it sounds like something you can remedy, but just seems that's the kind of thing like, why in the world is that not just modular? I don't understand why that's not the same for all of them. I really don't. When you say a frame is wider and narrower, how much are we talking about? And it's the same in the front? How much are we talking about? Because I know with trucks, your dualies, the tires go on the outside, the truck just gets a whole lot wider. It's kind of the opposite of a car. When a car wants to have a lot more tire, unless you're Brian, Dust Devil Brian, most people like their tire to go to the inside. Unfinished Project says, I'm not sure if it's going to need flares yet or not. I have a narrow dually rear end for it. A narrow dually rear end? What does that mean, a narrow dually rear end? Why is it narrower? Teddy Boy's maybe 2 inches wider. Yeah, that's a little bit. Weight to power is one reason. For what? Because 100 comments ago. Weight to power is one reason for what? And when you say a narrow dually rear, what are we talking about in the way of narrow? Interesting. I'm getting an education on trucks tonight. I like this. This is fun. It's good stuff to know. Barrows says we used to build brush trucks for the fire department and install flat beds for the farmers and ranchers. Racer saying often the chassis cab was narrower than the cab box trucks. Okay. Unfinished Project says sub-cab and chassis trucks had a narrower rear than the actual dually pickup trucks. That kind of stuff just bugs me. It just seems like you'd wind up with a bunch of stuff that doesn't interchange. Barrows says a utility dually, you don't need flares. Your outside dual is the same as your fronts. That's the rear we used on Surratts a lot. Cutter Down Garage 303 says, I enjoy welding a flatbed custom. RC Industry, the reason he's in Arkansas is to secure his 2026 No Name Nationals vehicle. Exciting. Blue Grit Garage Walter says, I'm in and out on Parent Watch tonight. We'll be at a friend's making a video dropping a late model Hemi and transmission in his 73 Challenger this Sunday. Sounds exciting. A late model Hemi and transmission is 73 Challenger. That's the same thing just Mopar Joe did in reverse. He un-Hemi swapped his. Unfinished Project says it all interchanges except for the outside dimensions. So the spring seats and all that swap right in. I think I like that. I like that it's narrower because it'd be nice to not have to run flares with that. Blue Collar Performance says you should swing by, Rick. Howdy, Nate. Brazil says his ramp truck was factory ordered cab and chassis, and the rails are narrower on it in the rear, so the ramp bed could sit over the frame rails on each side. Huh. Interesting. Blue Collar Performance in Harrison, Arkansas. I actually saw a YouTube video about Harrison, Arkansas today. Colleen and the Scamp Man, known as Mohawk 62. Vintage Adventure Drives decided to hop in. He's been practicing music for an album I'm getting ready to finish recording, taking pictures for the cover on Sunday. RC Rick is in Jonesboro currently. How far is that from you, Nate? Be jamming at No Name Nationals 2026. Indeed. That's the plan. Yep. Going to be exciting. 250 days, 3 hours, 10 minutes. Whew. Hopefully by that time I will have this, this unending house stuff in the rearview mirror. Big Mike says he's an hour and 45 minutes from Harrison, Arkansas. Walter says Anna's looking at what I believe is a 95 one-ton four-wheel drive flatbed Ford. RC says Searcy, Arkansas. That's where Russell from Outfits is. Right there. Frizzell's on vacation in Gatlinburg right now, hanging out at the hotel at the moment. That sounds cool. Haven't been there in a while, Frizzell. Dust Devil Brian said I should have my first van video live tomorrow. Oh, sounds good. Looking forward to van content from Dust Devil. Oh, he's got a full house going on there now. So apparently Cletus is going to be doing a live regarding the build series. He's going to have a grand finale at the No Name National. The No Name Nationals with his builds. Left Turn Dodge is bringing some sound equipment. Yeah, usually Al brings our amplified sound for the burnout competition. Unfinished Projects contemplating putting fiberglass bumpers on it too if I could find a video on the process. Huh. Kenneth Brackett says a friend of mine has a monster truck on sale on Facebook Marketplace. 25. Oh, what is it? What is it? Because I got to tell you, the only monster trucks I find interesting, truthfully, are the steel leaf sprung, you know, the classic monster trucks of the 80s. Once they went to the dune buggy stuff, it just lost all its soul. Barrows is saying we've always called a cab and chassis truck a utility. A lot of guys here order them that way and order Bradford bed, Heil, or Reading bed for them. Mostly Mopar. He said he made it. Got my paying projects done, so maybe I can get some more videos working on my Duster soon. Right on. You don't have too far to go to get your 500. Dakota's timeout has made it. Big Mike of the Hoopty Barn, I see the sequence worked. Bigfoot Mark says, I'm hoping to get the 4-inch lift and 35s on my club cab this summer. Ooh, that'll look wild. Left Turn Dodge says, check out the Blue Ox monster truck, a local friend of mine. We wanted him to come, but he's busy that weekend. I would love to see a monster truck at the No Name Nationals. That needs to happen. Lars puts up a link to Mostly Mopar. He's running the No Name 500. He's in the lead. But, it's a race that everybody can win if they just get their 500. Blue Grit says the truck she's looking at has a leaf spring front suspension and a 7.2 Power Stroke diesel. Is there a way to put a regular bed on a flatbed truck? Well, truck people, see what you can tell him. Wow, Frizzell has all the paperwork on his 77 Ram truck. Cool. Bruce is checking to see how much grayer I've gotten since last time I was here. I'm sure some. Bruce, check this out. See that? Got smacked in the head with a pry bar pulling a nail doing some subflooring last week. It's not as bad as it was, but still left a little mark. So. Vintage Adventure Drives is taking a little break from car stuff to deal with some stuff and music. Cool. I'd be doing a lot more car stuff if I wouldn't have to do so much house stuff. Just the way it goes. Lars puts up the link to Left Turn Dodge. Another No Name 500 hopeful who can do it. RC Industry may have sold the brown bag Dodge. This is why you got to come to No Name Nationals every year, because some people bring different stuff every year. You'll miss it. Dust Devil wants a ramp truck or rollback. Boy, wouldn't we all like to have that? Bruce is nasty. Work is dangerous, so don't recommend it. This work is not fun. Doing subflooring is not fun. But I'm forcing myself to get in there and get it done, because as soon as I get it done, I can move on to, I need to paint, do some ceilings in there, and just get it done. Brazil says, if you get a ramp truck, get the flat bed with the dovetail. Don't get the wedge bed. The wedge beds look cool and all that. Don't have that weird breakover. But, man, I think you're right. I think the flat bed would be so much more useful. Unfinished project has a VVert G90E. Is that something you want from Bondo Billy? And if so, what is it? Is that like a plasma cutter or something? What? Don't ramp trucks cause the rear mains on the towed cars? I can't believe that. That sounds nutty. Heavens Mopar Scobby's sweet. If Frizzell, Levi, and I get our ramp trucks built and have them at the same time, I would never bet on that, but it would be really cool to see. Bruce is going to check back to see if I'm bald or disable myself with a tool. Well, won't be long. Blue Collar Nate says, I always focus on making small progress when I'm doing something that sucks, so there's a lot of little victories. Yeah, well, I just set a goal, a reasonable, attainable goal, and just work till I get it. And so my next goal when I work on that subflooring is I want to have 3 sheets down. And then my next goal will be cleaning the next area and do the next 3. That's just, ugh. Dust Devil says a wedge bed seems like a one-trick pony. Flatbed you can still use as a truck. I kind of would think the same. Frizzell says with the flatbed and the dovetail, you have 18 to 19 foot flatbed you can use for anything, haul lumber or whatever. Doesn't have to be a car just to haul a car. Yeah, I see. That's what I'm thinking. Junkyard D says he thinks Jamie from Dead Dodge Garage mentioned selling his ramp truck. Well, there you go. Travis's Mopar Garage is here. Howdy, Travis. Glad you could make it. Travis, what are you bringing to the No Name Nationals? Vintage Adventure Drive says Jamie would sell almost anything in his fleet for the right price. Unfinished Project says he purchased this one, and it's the welding slide hammer dent puller. No studs to grind off. Ah, neat. I've heard that number before, but I didn't know what that was. That's pretty cool. Wendy was on the phone with the boss. Hope that was good. 1072 Demon, hello. We're going to be seeing you in Sykeston again this year. Travis says that Red will be there with a new engine set up. Looking forward to it. Yeah, finally got here. I got here with just a few minutes to spare. Sat down, posted my new number here, got my lights on, everything, and finally finished everything I needed to do. Walked in here right at 8, sat down, went live. Williams leaning to bringing his Charger back to No Name Nationals this year. Cool. Tim says, I'll be there. Well, good deal. Gonna bring the demon? Danny Boy just picked up his bass trying to figure out Rhinestone Cowboy. I like it. Brazil wants to race Levi on ramp trucks. Slowest race to No Name Nationals. Will be pretty cool. I'll give you that. Just Mopar Joe says, all right, Mopar people, say, can someone post that registration link? Joe, you've got a wrench. You can post it. NoNameNationals.com. Redirect you to Square. You can post it. Tim's is going to do my best to get her back on the road. Hey, man, if you can do it in 250 days and 3 hours, we know a great place you can bring it. Debut it at the 5th annual No Name Nationals. Left Turn Dodge bringing a Charger. What Charger to bring is his question. Sounds like a good problem to have. The Mid-South Lowballer running 3rd place in No Name 500. Glad you're here. Williams doing a gear change in the Charger. What gears are in it now? For Joe, here is the link. That's registration for Friday and Saturday. Colleen just links the site. Dakota says Mid-South Lowballer is a good name. I would agree. Unfinished project puts up the registration link again. William says a 323 is what's in there now. Vintage Adventure Drives needs to get his life caught up. I get that. I know that feeling. Whew, I am way behind on stuff. I got some stuff I gotta get done. I think I'm actually going to enjoy doing my work on one of my houses because when I'm working on it, it means I am done with the two that are just albatrosses around my neck. And I'll be doing something new for a change. My one on Montclair Street. I'm looking forward to that. I honestly think I'll enjoy that one. And part of the reason I'll enjoy it is because the house is in good shape. It's going to be just, lots of improvements, cosmetics. We'll do a new kitchen and bathroom. But it's not just the house is just falling in first. That's what's miserable. Scott sent me these. I'll share them. There's his ramp truck and his dog. How cool is that? Isn't that cool? Mid-South Low Ballers telling us those Tanner's got a lot going on. Reach out if you want some help planning. I can understand that. And the Dougster's here. He did sneak in. Vintage Adventure Drive says he's flying to Washington to buy a car from Jamie and driving it back. Okay. Sounds like a wild little road trip there. I've never been to Washington State. I have been to Oregon. I went to Oregon to go here, Thunder Ranch. And Lars puts up the link to Mid-South Low Ballers. So if you haven't checked out our No Name 500 channels, please do. You can go to johnwilburn.com. That'll redirect you to my main page where all four can be found. And you can see the alumni if you'd like. A lot of familiar names are in the alumni section. Blue Rick Garage says he has to find another transmission shop for Anna's 67 Mustang. The one I've been using for the last 30 years, no one works on AODs with a throttle valve cable. Any suggestions on the shop nearby? No idea who to tell you. No idea. Vintage Adventure Drive says, I've never been to a state that doesn't border Oklahoma. Well, if you fly out there and drive that, you will. Whoa. Sneeze. Never been to a state that doesn't border Oklahoma. Wow. I rode through Oklahoma one time on I-40. And Oklahoma was the first place I ever tried fried pickles. All I remember about Oklahoma was just going through there, trying the fried pickles and seeing an Indian casino, and that's about it. Dust Devil Garage says, I lived in Portland, Oregon for a little while. That's before it became all Mad Max-like. Yeah, I guess so. Evans Mopars. Yeah, you know what? Probably from working around all that sawdust, breaking up that floor and cutting saw. You're running a saw, cutting it up. It's miserable getting that stuff out. Dakota says, I've been in Kentucky for just a second and to Virginia for a Dukes of Hazzard shindig. Where in Virginia? Did you go to Cooters Luray? Is that where you went? And Sykeston is the furthest I've been from home. Brazil says I'll be in Oklahoma in July, my first time there. I've been coast to coast. I mean, I've been from the Pacific all the way across into all the states south of that. But I've never been up north hardly anywhere. I mean, I went to see Don English once. It's probably the farthest north I've ever been. I rode up to the southern tip of New Jersey one time and back down once. And, of course, I've been to Lakeview, Oregon for Thunder Ranch, but, you know, I've not been much anywhere up north. Into everywhere below that line. Vintage Adventure drives. I plan to add up to 9 states to my list here. I'm only at 6 so far. I've been to about half of them, roughly, about half of them, maybe a little more. Left turn Dodge, my boss is threatening to make me go to California. Not excited. Been to California a few times. Actually went to a training class there. Took a 1911 operators class last time I was in California. I guess that was 2018, I think. 2018 or 2019. Andrew Nelson says, we were honored with a visit. I'd love to go see the Nelsons, too. I had business at Don's. I had to take something to Don, and then I came back and got to see Andrew Nelson and Buck, which was great, and see the whole Nelson family and go see the compound, which was great. And I need to go back up to Don's. I'd love to come see you guys again on when I work that out to go to see Don. But with it being 15 degrees today, I really don't want to go farther north, if that makes sense. But I do want to work that out soon. Dakota says, I don't know if I want to cross the Mason-Dixon line. It's not too bad. It does get weird when you go north, I can tell you that. Travis says, I haven't been to Rhode Island and Hawaii. Well, I haven't been to either of those either. But you've been to 48 others? You've been to Alaska and all the rest of them? Left turn Dodge says, this will be training, but not that cool. Understandable. I took my training very seriously. I haven't taken a training class in a few years now. Travis is 48 states. Well, hey, man, if you're 48, you got to get those other 2. Dutch Vornick says you've been to Oklahoma and didn't get an onion burger. Don't even know what that is. Of course, this was nearly 20 years ago now. Dokester says Rhode Island's no fun. It's the state that most contests are void in. Thank you, Andrew. When it gets a little warmer so that I'm not freezing to death, I do need to go up and see Dawn and you guys. I want to do that. Unfinished projects is my farthest is Nebraska. Weird in the north? Yeah, the north is weird. The north is weird. They think that barbecue is a cookout or a grill. The north is weird. Razor's been to Colorado, farthest west. Old McDonald says, not weird north of Mason-Dixon line. Up here, we speak correct English up here. Example right here. There you go. Oh, my gosh. Barbecue sauce. Oh, my gosh. Winter can be over soon for all I care. Yeah, I'm good with that. I actually had to abort trying to do a trip to work on that property a couple days ago because it was just snowing everywhere and slick everywhere. I said, forget this. I turned around and went by because I'll try it the next day. I tried it the next day and it was fine. Actually, I think I tried it later that afternoon. Mohawk's been to 38 of these great United States. Well, probably 38 of them are great. I mean, there's several that aren't. NSB said his boss asked him today if he had a passport, not sure where they want to ship me to. I don't know. My passport's expired. Lars says, went to Oklahoma and didn't get an onion burger, and went to New Jersey and didn't get any lasagna. What a shame. Just Mopar Joe says, can I do a quick giveaway? Sure. Tell me how you want to do it. We'll do it. Mohawk loves sweet cornbread. That's an up north thing right there. How far north have I been? I'll look at the map because I don't really know exactly. I can just tell you I've been. Okay, the farthest north I've ever been geographically would have been Lakeview, Oregon, which is it's see Klamath Falls. It's near there. It's 5 miles north of the California border in the state of Oregon. So that will be the farthest north I've ever been, and that's there. And then no, that's not really true. Well, because I've been there an hour south of Chicago to visit Cope, and of course I've been to Chicago. We went up to Chicago, so I've been there. And then I've been where Dawn lives is definitely farther north than where I was in New Jersey. So I've been to Williamsport, Pennsylvania. So I guess that's the 3 places in the east, west, and the middle of the country I've been that are far north. Vintage Adventure Drives talk about sweet cornbread. Wendy says 2 more days will be 30 years since she lost her first house from flooding. Yeah, that's right. Dust Devil Brian says it's getting to be the time of year when I start asking who all's going to be the first, who all's going to the Indy swap meet. Mostly Mopar says, with work and mission trips, I've been to 40 states, Canada, and Honduras. Wow. Andrew Nelson is going to Loring, Maine. Wow, that's up there. I've never been to Maine. Indecisive Tim's been to all 50 states, mostly as a cross-country truck driver. Well, you didn't drive to Hawaii. Dizzy said he's seen the Bahamas in the middle of nowhere, Canada. Vintage Adventure Drives figures Seattle will top Shawnee, Kansas. Yeah, it will be. Left Turn Dodge says Chicago's down south for us. Yeah, how'd you get a truck to Hawaii? I don't know. Yeah, I had a friend who was a truck driver, and the thing about people drive trucks seems like they don't really get to visit anywhere. They're just driving through all the time. I know when Bob Chandler, when he retired from running Bigfoot Inc. every day, Bigfoot 4x4, his daughter runs it now. And when he retired from running the day-to-day operations, he says, we're going to go travel in the RV, and said, I'm actually going to go to some of these places I never got to go to that I always drove by on the road with Bigfoot all the time. He says, so many times I've been by these places and never got to spend any time there, actually go there. I can understand that. He'd been everywhere and yet never got to go anywhere and enjoy it. I understand that. Danny Boy says Chicago is the Memphis of the North. Maybe. Indecisive Tim said vacation in Hawaii. Yeah. Dizzy's asking Walter, we changed the modulator valve. Yeah, that's a Ford thing. Thumper's been everywhere but Vermont, Maine, Montana, Idaho, Utah, California, Arizona, Hawaii, and Alaska. Oh, gosh, Danny Boyd, I've been in both Virginias. Oh, gosh, no one from here ever says that. Ever. There's not two Virginias. There's Virginia and West Virginia. No one says that. That's a giveaway that no one's from here, if they would ever say that. Or also if they say Appalachian, that's a dead giveaway. Only Yankees say that. And neither of the Kansases. You talking about Kansas and Arkansas? What is neither of the Kansas? I prefer West Virginia. Then you definitely aren't from around here. You know, in Bluefield, where I'm from, you've got Bluefield, Virginia, and Bluefield, West Virginia. And as soon as you cross the state line, Virginia's got all kinds of stuff going on because the taxes are lower. It's better run. That's where businesses locate. West Virginia, it's just amazing. All the lights and everything, businesses, as soon as you cross the line, it's just dark. There's nothing there. You know, West Virginians can be strange, but they also depends what part of the state. It's a very different state from top to bottom. Joe says it's been crazy busy since the new year. I was just able to register for my No Name Nationals participation tonight. Can I buy a spectator pass for the first 3 participant registrations you get tonight? Okay. And you posted that at 9:18. Ooh, yeah, okay, that's you. So Joe is registered. I got my registration open right here. So a spectator pass for the first 3 participants. So if you're going to get a spectator pass anyway, this would be an ideal opportunity to win one from Just Mopar Joe. The first 3 participant registrations. Wow. Generous offer from Joe. If you know you're going to register anyway, and you know you're going to get a spectator pass for your +1 that's crewing for you, you should go for it. You should take Joe up on it. The first 3 participant registration. Well, I'm watching my email, so. Tim says that you can't pull a big rig in to park and visit. This is true. Heavens Mopar says, been to several airports. Does that count? No, because I've been to the airport in Detroit, and I don't say I've been to Michigan. Laura says, Monster Jam's in Nashville this weekend. Anybody ever been? Is it worth going? I've never been to a Monster Jam event. Been to several Monster Truck shows. Dizzy says they go nuts in Nashville and break crap. Well, they do that everywhere. Unfinished Project says he hasn't been, but I'm sure it's worth it. Yeah, it's one of those things. I'm sure it's worth it. It'd be fun. Mohawk's got a handful of states he's not been to. Rabbit Transit J says he's been to a Monster Jam in Milwaukee. If it's similar, it's cool. Well, there you go. Unfinished Project says take earplugs. Absolutely. You don't get hearing back when you lose it. Vintage Adventure Drive says about to try for some sleep running on 4 hours. Yep, sounds like a good idea. My eyes are red and tired looking. Hey, just wait till you get older. You don't just rejuvenate instantly like you do when you're young. Brazil likes his monster truck shows outside. The first monster truck show I ever went to was in Rural Retreat, Virginia in 1987. And it was a cool show. I really enjoyed it. It was at the Rural Retreat Fairgrounds. And I remember the first monster truck I ever saw was the day before. It was the heavy Chevy tank truck. I had to find a picture of that thing. But let's see if I can find a picture for you guys. Yeah, here it is. This is the first monster truck I ever saw. Right here. It's an 86 Chevy. It's a square body. And it was a new truck then, of course. This was in 1987. And I want to say the guy was out of Florida. But I remember Carolina Crusher was there. And it was great. And then the next show I ever went to was in 88 in Roanoke. Saw Bigfoot 6 there. Great show. Mostly Mopar says, being that I registered several weeks ago, does that mean I can claim I beat just Mopar Joe at No Name National? That's my only chance. No, there's plenty of technicalities, but yeah, you read it exactly. According to your textbook. I don't know, man. I'm just, you know, we get old. What can I say? Dizzy says his wife is finally getting better. That's a good thing. Take good care of her. William says his dad went to a monster truck show at the Mid-South Coliseum, said the sound from the engines would knock the ceiling tiles. Yes, those indoor shows especially are really loud. Take your hearing protection. Mid-South lowballer tells Tanner will be glad to call you a kid. Yeah, he's a young fella. Dizzy will be back to making content. Worked on the Vagrant yesterday. Cool. Excellent. Can't even think about working outside. I did work outside to help my friend Ben here a few days ago, but it got into the 40s that day. But Just Mopar Joe says my coke valve body arrived today to Drew's house. You wouldn't be surprised he left me a message on it. No, I would not. That's why he got that laser engraver, to entertain himself. T's Good Time Garage. How's it going, T? I got the crew on a monster truck a couple of times way back when. A good friend used to campaign a Dodge body truck called the Widowmaker. Yes, yes. And it had a Hemi. Yes. Cool truck. I have seen that. Cousin Cletus is here. Hello. Guys, if you've not yet checked it out, Cousin Cletus has a build competition, a beater build competition that the grand finale is going to be at the No Name Nationals in September. There's so many good things going on with the No Name Nationals, and it's all swirling up to a head in September. And it's going to be great and exciting, and you guys do not want to miss it. And the first 3 people who register tonight will get a spectator pass from Just Mopar Joe. So check that out, guys. Great gift from Joe. I mean, and they're not yet taken. So if you register right now, you can do it. Indecisive loaded the app for the special Mopar check ball. Yes, you got to have that app. You got to get the Just Mopar Joe app. If you've not seen that video, it's on Cope's channel. There's a special app that Cope has developed. You have to watch the video to see it. T, as I remember, that truck was like about an 80 model. Wasn't it that body style of truck? I see a spectator ticket from Tim72 Demon. He said participant for registration. But thank you for registering. We're glad you're here, Tim. Looking forward to seeing you in Sykeston. Travis, later on, man, glad you were here. Joseph Cope is a videographer and a transmission builder's body. Racer says, Cousin Cletus, I hope to see you at 7 tomorrow. Cletus is going to be having a live, so check that out if you get a chance. Brazil says I should check out the budget deal. Just had a fella give me a Chevy Love. That's as low budget as it gets. Those are cool trucks if you can get them that aren't eaten up with rust. They're pretty neat. Barrow says, did you run on the west side of the Mississippi? We may have met out there on the road. Yes, because T is in Utah. You guys may have worked the same show together. And Cletus is going to be live at 7 Central tomorrow, so check that out if you get an opportunity. Cletus has a build series going on that's going to cap off the No Name Nationals. Racer Ray likes the early 4-eyed Loves. I like them all. I think they're cool little trucks. Used to be a wicked fast when it ran down here at Motor Mile Dragway. Just made those mid-5s look effortless. So smooth going down the track. Joe says, NSB, can we race again this year? I'll tell you what, that was a good race. That Lenco Dart versus Joe, that's a close one. I think a lot of people would like to see a rematch on that one. Who here in the chat would like to see a rematch? Just Mopar Joe and the Purple Barracuda versus Lee and the Lenco Dart. And Barrows did a lot of shows in Utah. Truck was an 03 body. Not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of one that was, it was black and had the white lettering on the doors and these black covers over the headlights, and it was a 10 grill. I'd have to look it out. There's a, it was a great website. It's down now. It's not still up there. You can still find it archived though. What was that guy's name? He did a, the best monster truck reference site on the entire internet. It's fantastic. And I've got a link to it. It was just amazing. He had pictures of all these old trucks, obscure trucks. Best site there is. And a lot of his stuff's been moved to this Wikipedia fan, or not Wikipedia, but Monster Truck Wiki fan page stuff. But his old site was Dennis Taft. That was his name. It was just fantastic. So I hated seeing that site come down. Dallas says, Tom Mintz grew up next door to my grandparents. He started with Mudbog and then moved to Monster Patrol Monster Truck. I crewed for him twice in California. Isn't that cool? Dallas, I think, was there for the groupies. Racer Ray says, did you know that the Chevy Love is an acronym, light utility vehicle? No, I didn't know that. Or if I'd heard it, I'd forgotten it. That's pretty cool. Joe says he heard the NSB North branch will have to race. Race the trophy? Tim says that the 360 sounds good. Yes, Joe fired up the 360 from the Little Red Express truck. If you want to see that, check it out on his channel. I know that build started quite a while back, but it's he's got the 360 for the Little Red Express truck. You can hear it and check it out. Tim says it sounds good, but if you want to hear it, you got to see it on his channel. Dallas says, howdy, NSB folks. Oh, Dallas, I got my intake out. I got my intake out of the building, my 318 police intake. No rush. I'm not doing anything with this cold, that's for sure. But I did get my 318 police intake. Dallas and I are going to be working on a little something for the van I think you guys are going to like. Michael Schmidt says, howdy y'all, checking in from SoCal on the long drive home. Thanks for visiting tonight. Cletus says, be 2 guests on tomorrow, vintage and a surprise guest too. Lars puts up a link to Joe's 360 video. Right on. Hey, Lars, if you can put up the link to this, I'm going to send you something. I have this archived thing here, and I'm going to send it to Lars so that he can post it. It is the old monster truck photo album of Dennis Taft's, and it is outstanding. It hasn't been updated in years. It's an archive, and a lot of the pictures I haven't seen load, etc. But man, is it good. He has pictures of all kinds of trucks that you just, if you ask yourself, oh man, you think of a truck you haven't seen in 40 years, he'll have pictures of it there. It's the most extensive I've ever seen. All the old glass and steel real trucks. There is no rush whatsoever, but I did fish the intake out of the building. Had to move some stuff to get to it. So I got it. It's out. And I'll clean it up and all that good stuff. Lars puts up the link to the monster truck photo album. You know, it's whether you're a monster truck fan or not, just browsing through those old pictures are just so cool. You want to see the back when USA 1 was blue and Carolina Crusher was green and two-tone. And you want to see back when a lot of these trucks were on 48s, like when Barefoot ran 48-inch tires and all this obscure stuff, that is the place to see it. He's got so many pictures from the 80s. It's just great. No other site matches it at all. And he's taken it down. This is an archived one. I wish it was still up. Joe's telling NSB bring some shirts. Yep. Well, Just Mopar Joe, our only 2-time No Name Nationals bracket champion. Is he going to be a 3-time champion, or is somebody else going to be a 2-time champion, or is we're going to have a new winner who's never won before? What's the difference with the police intake? It's a 318 4-barrel intake. And some of the police cars in the mid-'80s had them. I don't think it's anything special, but it is a true 318 intake. A lot of people will throw a 360 intake on there just, just because it bolts on there, but the ports don't match. But this has true 318 ports. It's dual port. It's a spread bore. It'll work perfectly for what we're doing. This one's had a few little mods done to it when I was a teenager, but it's a great intake. I ran it on my Dart for years. It's great. And then I upgraded to an Elbrock TM5. Probably would have run better with this intake on that engine. Cletus says, I'll win brackets this year. Maybe. Left turn Dodges. I have one of those 318 intakes too, hard to find. This was the first speed part I ever bought. And I got it from a circle track racer in Austinville. I was a teenager and I got it many years ago, more than 30 years ago, off a circle track racer. He had a 66 or 7 Coronet circle track car. I remember the car was black with a number 7 on the roof. And he ran dirt track with it, and that was an intake he ran. And then I ran it for years on the streets. Great intake. So I think that's what I'm going to put on the van. Here we go. This is what T sent me. It's one of those long travel nitrogen shock monster truck chassis, which is cool. Those are cool. But I'm partial to the old leaf spring trucks and steel and all that, but I like the new ones too. They're cool. Left turn Josh's mine's been on a few circle track cars. Yeah, well, that's where this one came from. It's the only one I have. I think it'll be great on the van, though. Yeah, the van, I mean, I could leave on there what's on there. It's got a Carter BBD. I'm very familiar with those. I could run that one. It would work, but it needs to be rebuilt. And the late BBDs don't have a ported vacuum with vacuum advance, which I don't like. They did away with it. And then it went to this mess of vacuum switches and electronically controlled stuff, and I hate all of that. So I'm gonna just get rid of all of that, going straight to a ported vacuum. And I think the van will be much happier. I can tune it conventionally. It's what it needs. Junkyard D says, can a participant race the beginner bracket and also the regular bracket? Sure. No reason you can't. I mean, as long as you've never won or runnered up in a bracket race, yes, you can run the beginner bracket too. Cousin Cletus, as I did last year, won the beginner bracket. He did, yes. Now, if you win or runner up in the bracket, you can no longer run the beginner bracket. So Cletus can no longer run the beginner bracket. Main Street Mopar says, I have the same intake from the 318 out of my Diplomat. Yeah, I mean, they're out there. There's a handful of them. They're great intakes. They're factory. They're heavy. I went to pick that thing up. I went, oh, gosh, now I remember why, I don't run these things, but it's a great intake. Joe says the modern-day monster trucks are the only exposure that modern kids get to loud engines and real power. This is true. This is true. Cletus says, I'm going to win the burnout competition. I got to save that. I've got to save that. Danny Boy says Edelbrock. Yeah, well, the 318 intakes like Edelbrock makes, a lot of them are just neck down, and they make a lot of 340, 360 intakes for that port size. I like this factory intake. I've also got that 318 street intake too, which it's a possibility. Single plane. Racer Ray says, do the trifecta, beginner, triple crown, and the Friday bracket. The Friday bracket, Saturday beginner bracket, and the triple crown for a trifecta. That'd be pretty wild. Cletus, if you did manage to win the burnout competition, that will be pretty amazing from your 2025 to your 2026 showing. Cletus says, if I don't win the burnout competition, John will start liking Fords more than Dodge. Oh, my gosh. Okay, you're planning to bring something. Cop Car Steve says, hello from the Great White North. Hello, sir. And what part of the North are you from again? Single play on the van? I don't think you'd like that. I mean, got to remember, your 318s up to 72 were all single plane. You didn't have a dual plane 318 before that. All of them were. I don't think it'd be bad at all, but I do have that dual plane 318 intake. He says he's 2 miles north of Blaine, Washington. Whew. Gosh, it just sounds so cold. That sounds so cold. Cop Car Steve, you think you're going to make it out to the No Name Nationals? You going to bring the black and white Crown Vic there in your thumbnail out to Sykeston? This one right here. He's about 460 subs short, but working on it. Well, let me tell you, and again, I don't want to sound self-serving. We'll let the chat opine on this. But when you register early, people will get behind you. They'll help you. So just something to think about. Just Mopar Joe says, I'm watching T close this year. He's been working on a weapon with that duster, and he's looking for bracket action. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Joe. The target you get gets bigger every year. The competition gets stiffer every year, doesn't it? You really had to run the gamut to win 2025. And you did. That was well earned. By the way, I want to remind people tonight and tonight only, first 3 people who register for the No Name Nationals tonight as a participant registration will get a spectator pass from Just Mopar Joe. It's a very generous offer. If you know you're coming, go ahead and register. Get your spectator pass too, because you know you're bringing someone. In fairness to Joe, a lot of people who come here on Friday nights are already registered. Michael Schmidt says, to be supportive, who should I be subscribing to? If you go to my main page, my channel, johnwilbur.com will take you there. We have all 4 of the guys who are registered for the No Name 500 who are seeking their 500 subs. So you can go to my main page and check that out. Mostly Mopar, Left Turn Dodge, the Mid-South Lowballer, and Dave Stovall are all registered right now and seeking their 500 subs. And Cop Car Steve, you see your 460 subs short. Dave Stovall registered with 40 subs this week. He's at 48. Cop Car Steve says, I might do a fly and pick up a beater and make my way as a spectator. My brother-in-law lives in Memphis. You might also get in on Cletus's beater build challenge. He's saying do it, Cop Car Steve. Yeah. Thumper says several people had 0 in January. And oh, yeah. Scott says, we're almost neighbors. He's in Spokane, Washington. What city? T says he's definitely working on it. We're going to have a ringer getting in Monkey Bike this year, Junkyard D. Monkey Bike's going to take a step up this year. Competition is going to get a little stiffer, just saying. I'm going to leave it to him to announce his registration. Tim says, just did my tickets. Now to work on putting out some videos to get to 500. Yeah, but you got your spectator pass. You can, if you register for participant tonight, not only will you get a spectator pass from Joe, you'll also get in the No Name 500. And Cousin Cletus says, just keep making videos, which is true. Joe puts up a link to my channel. It says over 5 million views. Yep. Yep. A lot of people watch ridiculousness that I put out, I guess. Indecisive Garage Tim says, I didn't get to perform well in 25, but I'm planning on having a backup plan for No Name Nationals 2026. You know, Cope is, for whatever reason, he's talking about the bracket this year. He may be getting in the bracket with Haney. Cope's got a lot of racing experience. Racer Ray confirms to Tim 72 Demon. That's how you do it. Just keep making content. Racer Ray did it. Got to remember, Just Mopar Joe, even though he was an established channel since the first year of the No Name Nationals, he and I would have been in the No Name 500 in 2019 if it had been around then. Because I was one of Joe's earliest subs. So I remember when neither he nor I had 500. I remember when Andy Wood didn't have his 500, or the Bad Tree guys, or any of those. So a lot of established channels now, at one time, were grinding out their first 500. Left turn dodge, as I find there's a breaking point on too many videos. If I do shorts 3 days in a row, number 3 tanks. I don't know. I've found it to be, you might just have a weird rhythm going there, but it typically, I just find it when it hits, some of them. Tim says, when I make 500, can I upgrade the race? Yeah, man, but what you do is you just go ahead and register. You just go ahead and register now. You've got 250 days and 2 hours and 12 minutes. You register now. Go ahead and risk your ego and just say, I'm just going to get my 500. That's what most people do. And you get in the No Name 500. You get your channel listed up on my main page. We put the links up for you. We get invested in your hunt because we know you're serious. You've registered. Now, I'll tell you what I will do. If you were to register now, for example, and go ahead and get in the No Name 500 in earnest and say, this year I'm just going to do it. I mean, I would let you do that. I would let you register. I'll refund your spectator pass because your registration is inclusive of a spectator pass, whether you make your 500 subs or not. So your risk would be $60, not $95. Because I'm already committed to a lot of money, so I'm not too worried about you guys committing to a little bit. I'm committed to a lot. Cletus would have been No Name 500 in 2019 too. Exactly. A lot of us were No Name 500 before it was a thing. Indecisive Tim says Cope was definitely a good racer, and I bet he still is. Oh yeah, yeah. He's one. He could be one of those dark horses to do something in the bracket. Might surprise some people. Left turn dodge is register. You will make it. Left turn dodge did. He jumped in there. He's just going to do it. Get in there, Tim. No fear. This is coming from guys who did it. So don't you don't have to believe anything I'm telling you. Listen to the guys who actually did it. These guys did it. Jay was the second person to ever graduate from the No Name 500. Cousin Cletus says, I've not seen anybody that really pushes not make 500. This is true. Mostly Mopar says, I'm pretty sure I've picked up over 150 subs since registering. So just let these guys tell you their experience. Laura says you can do it. I agree. And it's one of these things. Indecisive Tim, he just went ahead and registered and wasn't sure if he'd make it. I said, if you don't quit, you're going to make it. He made it. That's the biggest thing, is just don't quit. Just keep making shorts. Keep making long-form videos. Just do what works. Lone Wrench Mike, he did pretty good on lives, the YouTube lives, the vertical ones. Tim says, sounds like lots of support. Thanks, everyone. There is. I'm telling you, this community's got your back. If you're doing your part, we'll do ours. We help the people who are getting after it. I mean, we want everyone to make it. Racer Ray said, if I would have known about the No Name Nationals before August of 22, I would have been in the first No Name 500. Yeah, this is true. But Ray still made the drive down, and he got into second and did it. Yeah. Thumper said, I had 112 when I registered, made 500 about 4 months. That's right. Thumper's a No Name 500 guy as well. Dizzy says you'll get it. Dizzy was a No Name 500 guy. Cop Car Steve says, I just kind of started out. I need to do a better job with my contact and get some equipment. I got to tell you, as far as making videos, this is a great place to get advice. We do content creator workshops. We do a few of those each year. We'll do one here, in a little bit. In the winter, we'll do one, and we'll help you guys out. And we usually have guests in there to help and share the things that'll help you get to your 500 subs. Get the most out of your content. Tim, you only have to get 499. Yeah, Unfinished Project likes to be your 500th if you can. Big Mike said he had 75 subs when he registered the first year. You can do it. Yep, Mike was a No Name 500 guy. Indecisive Tim got his 500th sub on the Monday before the race. Yeah. Joe just put up the link to Cop Car Steve. If you've not yet subscribed to his channel, go check him out. And there's a link right there. But I got to tell you, it is pretty cool when people register ahead of time and they go ahead and take the risk, make the plunge, and then you go up on my channel, and we know that means you're in. You're in. Cousin Cletus says, the automotive community is the best community on YouTube. If you make videos, they will be watched. Everyone helps everyone. Just put out the best videos you can. This is true. And over time, you're going to get better at editing while you produce. Over time, you're going to change the way you do things and refine and fine-tune everything. But don't worry about that. Just show us who you are, what you're working on, what's your car, where you're from. We want to participate in your story and see what you're doing, see what you're building. That's what we want to do. That's what the No Name 500 is all about. Because if you do the No Name 500 in earnest, by the time you get to Sykeston rolling the gate, you're going to have all kinds of people waving at you, know you by name, and you'll know who they are. It'll be an experience like no other event you've ever rolled into, ever. That's the point of the No Name 500. That's why it works. Laura says, Lone Wrench Mike kicked butt last year. He went to car shows, handed out stickers, had signs made up, filmed a lot of shorts, and stayed consistent. No way that guy wasn't going to make it. That's right. He just did it. Thank you for being here. We're just telling you the way it is. Racer had 2 subs in January when he registered. He got it done. Left Turn Dodge got his first troll today. Congratulations. Mostly Mopar just subscribed to Cop Car Steve. Yeah. Thanks to Joe's link. Unfinished Project said it's just money. You blow more or less tangible stuff every month. This is true. Clayton's Toolbox. Hello, sir. Wendy just subscribed. Even when you're not the nicest guy, people are friendly and say hi. It's a very friendly group. And I got to tell you, you will not be disappointed meeting these people in person. Cop Car Steve heard about the No Name Nationals from Jamie on Dead Dodge Garage. Yeah, Jamie came out, seemed to have a really good time, put on a great show. So far, planning to come back. We hope he can make that drive and come out again. We'd like to see him again. Left Turn Dodge has stickers made. He runs sound for several rockabilly car shows a year. That's one ace I have up my sleeve. Yep. You do. So you're going to have a great audience there for getting your subs. Dizzy said he never wanted a phone or a channel till the first No Name Nationals was announced. Well, Dizzy made it. Dizzy ground it out, and he got his subs. Even had his cardboard sign panhandling right there, which is all in good fun. We recommend people do that. If they don't have their subs by game day, make your cardboard sign and come out. It's just all in good fun. And the thing is what a thing you're going to notice is the people who get their 500 and grind for it that first year, you'll see them a year or two later with 2,000 subs, 3,000 subs, 4,000 subs. I mean, a lot of our No Name 500 guys have 5,000 and 10,000 subs now, 15, a lot of them do. Joe says at 8:55, 9:55, let's go lightning round. Any new participant from there until the end can claim all 3 spectator tickets and a free T-shirt at the event. Oh, my gosh. So there you go. Any new participant from there to the end got all 3 spectator tickets and a free T-shirt at the event. There you go. So if somebody will do a participant registration, a lot of you guys are registered, I will give you that. But if anybody's not yet registered, Joe is really sweetening the pot. You get all 3 spectator tickets, free T-shirt at the event. Just Mopar Joe, just giving back. We've tried to support Just Mopar Joe, and he is just awesome. He is one of the OGs. I know. A lot of you guys are already registered. Later, wrong English. Thank you for coming by, buddy. Thumper went up 1,500 subs in 6 months this year. Yeah. Lars puts up the link. Register by spectator tickets for the 5th annual AHRA No Name Nationals right there. If you know you're coming, it's a good time to do it. You know, here's what someone like Racer could do. I think he normally gets a spectator pass in. He could have a contest himself. You know, he could do something like that. I don't know why not. It's been a fun day today. I'm glad I got back here just in time to see all of you guys. He said, someone has to be as late as me. I wanted to bring some New Year cheer for the new Magic check ball season. Yep, I'll tell you what. We'll have more opportunities, Joe. Yes, we will. Racer's refinishing a floor. Well, I'm not finishing a floor, but I'm certainly building a new floor. Uh-oh. All right. I've got a registration. Now, let me look and see. All right, Joe. And this is for people who are adding a car to their count, correct? We got a registration, Joe. We do. I'm going to send it to you so you can see it. Your fellow Arkansas fellow there. Yes, Tim, you can do that. What I'll do is if you register to participant, I'll refund your spectator ticket. So if I see it come through, I'll just do that. No problem. We can do that. Then you'll be in the No Name 500. Can't remember. Have I registered yet? Well, let's look and see. I don't see you yet, William. But I do believe that somebody has claimed Joe's winnings. Joe, if you're in here, please confirm. Yeah, it's up to you, Tim. He did. Joe, he did. He's registered. So, believe we do have a winner. And actually, he has a crew big enough to need the spectator passes. So, for him, it's a great deal, actually. So that's what we do. Indeed, this is what we do. We do this every year. So this is not an exceptional year for this. I mean, we support everybody every year. We want this to happen. The late James Yeager told me the difference between a dream and a goal is that a goal has a deadline. And so I said, you know what? I want to help all these guys turn their dreams into goals and make them happen. And so what little part can I play in it? Well, I can give you the deadline. So here it is. Dizzy says, I've always wanted to show y'all the Museum of Transportation 2 miles from me, everything including the Chrysler turbine. Do a video from there, Dizzy, and post it. Premiere it. And then tell us when it's going to premiere in here in advance. We can link over to it and people can go over and watch it. That'd be cool. Score. So there you go. Somebody claimed it. Cletus claimed it. Cousin Cletus is registered, coming to the No Name Nationals. And I'm going to zip in here. I got to check out. I got to get his channel. I try to do this live as real time as I can. So I save, I do a screenshot and save where their sub count is when they register, because I actually track that from year to year. Channels do tend to grow from year to year. Yes, they do. We still got a healthy crowd in here. We'll stay live just a few more minutes and then we'll call it a night. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. We'll stick around just a few minutes. Now, AI used to have the most garbled, awful explanation of the No Name Nationals I have ever seen. It is much closer than it's ever been right here. There's still some mistakes in this, but it's a lot better than the AI version that it used to give you when you asked for the No Name Nationals. So. Cousin Cletus says, I'll be buying more spectator tickets this month, plus going to buy 2 more participant tickets too. Oh, wow. Right on, Cletus. And we got to highlight this just because Dart Sport. Love it. If you got time, would you explain how the No Name Nationals got started? Well, that takes a little bit of time, but I will tell you, I just thought many years ago, I said, I've met so many wonderful people through YouTube. I said, I will never be able to live long enough to go see all of them and visit all of them. I said, so what I want to do is just have a fun shindig in the middle of the country and get as many of them to come to it as possible for my YouTube friends. And I thought I'll rent a track and we'll cook out. Maybe 10 or 12 channels will come and we'll have a good time, you know, and it's grown into this. And so that's it. That was the point. Here we are. Well, the American Hot Rod Association does sanction the No Name Nationals. That it does. Tim says he's registered to bring the old demon. Everyone talked me into it. So we got Cletus, and we've got it. So Tim 72 Demon is registered for the No Name Nationals. I don't want to unsubscribe from my own mailing list. Give me just a second. I got to do this. I try to do this real time if at all can, because I try to save them. Go to Tim's channel. So Tim is registered with 46 subs. There you go. Doesn't have any videos just yet, but has some posts. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put up his link. He is now registered. He's running in the No Name 500. I believe he's tied for 4th right now. And I'm going to put up, he's already gotten a couple subs, 48 subs. There's his link. So if you've not yet checked out Tim 72 Demon, he's done it. He's going to put his money where his mouth is. He's registered. Check out his channel. I'm going to add him to my main page tonight. So we now have 5 channels running in the No Name 500. 51. Yeah, he's already picking up subs. So check out Tim. He's been there before. We love having him as a spectator, but this is the year. You've got 250. You got 250 days, 1 hour, 54 minutes. You have time. Make a list. Get on it early. Do more sooner. You can make it. You can do this. And if you're getting that 71 demon or 72 demon resurrected and you make content on that, it's going to be a breeze getting your subs. People love the demon. There aren't that many of them out there. I'll work on the videos. I did get some at last year's No Name Nationals. Yeah, man. Put the content out there. Absolutely. I've been subscribed to you for a long time, so I don't have another sub to give you. But that said, you're at 54. Got a bunch quickly. Yeah, lots of us were 54 subs. Dizzy says it's a blast to make a short, and the next day it's the first short in line. I've seen it a few times. I'm telling you what, it is great. It's very cool to make a short and see people turn out and watch it and comment and enjoy the things that you're doing. It is very nice. We got a good crowd in here tonight, but we're going to have to call it a night. He was at our table with us at Lambert's. Yes. Yep. Izzy made 56. And Charger 383 Mopar William is now registered as well. Outstanding. William right here, who was wearing this helmet. That's why it's got his channel sticker and it's up on my wall. Thank you for registering all. Thank you for being here. Look at Brian Beeler sliding in right here at the end. Have a great weekend. How you doing? Make sure to check out the roundabout Brian Beeler does. I love it. It's like the video magazine version of the Auto Trader. It's a lot of fun. I like that. Joe says, back in my day, there were no shorts. It took 9 months to get 1,000. Yep. Back in our day, Joe, us No Name 500 guys from 2019. But it's been fun tonight, guys. Thank you for coming. Great place to ask your tech and not see buffering like this. But go check that out. Lars puts up the link to Tech Talk Live. We'll be here again on Friday. We're going to have some guests soon. Also, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. I do plan to have a firearm training live. That was very popular last time I did it. For those of you who don't know, I'm a professional firearms instructor. Been teaching 16 years now. And you know what? I like to do that occasionally, like maybe once every year or two. We have that on a live, and we talk about all things firearm training. It's not about gun collecting, but about the training part of it. And it's interesting stuff, I think, obviously, because I spent 20 years traveling the country to train. But we'll do that live probably not this Sunday, but next. And we're also going to have some good guests on there. Some you know, some you don't. But that's going to be a lot of fun, too. So stay tuned for that. We'll be putting those out in advance during this winter when it's a good time to sit in the studio and talk. But that said, you all have a great night. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all again soon.